Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. Welcome if you are new. My name is Heather. I'm a homeschooling mom of 3 kids, elementary, high school, and recent graduate. Today I'm going to be doing August goals and I'm not quite prepared for it. It is July 31st when I'm filming this, so I am doing it at the very last possible moment to actually get things set up for August. That's not entirely true because I won't start my August goals until August 4th because I'm counting this full week as July, just because of how I set up my year. I don't run my goals like a traditional monthly calendar, July 1st through July 31st. I start my weeks on a Monday and then I go through to the first Monday in the next month, typically is what I do. So first I'm going to go through July. Usually I will be filming this video front facing, this part of the video, but I am not because again, we are at the very last possible second for me to be filming this and getting it up for August. So you're going to have to bear with me. It will still be chatty and we will still be going through everything. The whole focus for the month of July was rest. If you've been watching my videos this year, you will know that I have really wanted to focus on rest and it has been a long time coming. I felt like it was kind of the culmination of Emma graduating this year and kind of closing that chapter of her education journey. Even though I have 2 other kids, we started homeschooling Emma when she was like 3. And so it has been a very, very long time and I have been all in on homeschooling and absolutely love it, but really wanted to take some time to rest this summer. And so that was my focus. I do have a lot of things on here, but a lot of them were much more restful rhythms. Some of them are things that I just wanted to continue doing, but it has been absolutely lovely. And I am trying to figure out how I can incorporate some of the boundaries that I've created, especially around social media, especially around the amount of homeschool planning that I do. Because I do share a lot of homeschooling content online, I feel like homeschooling is part work, but also part personal. And so I'm constantly thinking about it. And this month I really took time to rest from that. And it was amazing and much needed. And I don't feel ready to start back to homeschool in a week. So here we are. Anyways, so my priority was rest and I really leaned into rest. I had a great July. I got a lot of things done. Some things I didn't, and you will see that as we go through, but I feel really proud of the progress that I made. So the first monthly action item that I had, my monthly project, was to brainstorm the basement space. And if you are new, welcome. If you are not new, you will know most likely that our basement flooded in March. And I had gone into March thinking that I was going to redo the basement, make it into more of a teen hangout space, repaint. I had purchased new furniture, new shelves and such, and I was going to reorganize everything down there. That did not happen. And so we finally got everything fixed in the basement. And so now I'm kind of starting at ground zero again to figure out what I want to do with the basement. And so I did go through and brainstorm the basement. I just used the Cultivate What Matters Brain Dump Journal, which is a great resource if you are trying to brainstorm a particular area of your life and then organize all of those thoughts. Highly recommend that resource. It's super helpful. And there's a good bit of education at the beginning to kind of help you figure out how to do a brain dump and what things would be helpful to brain dump. So definitely recommend that resource. So I did that and I feel really good about the brainstorm. However, I am unsure if I'm going to have the time now going into the fall, starting back to homeschool, probably doing some travel this fall with Emma to visit some colleges. And I'm just unsure if I have the time available to do some of the bigger things that I want to do in the basement. So that is kind of at a standstill at the moment until I can get on the same page with my husband about some of the things that I need his help for. I don't like to really put personal goals that rely on other people taking particular steps in my Powersheets, because I don't have control over when they complete certain aspects. And so I can only do as much that I'm responsible for. And then I kind of have to take a step back until other tasks are crossed off before I can jump back in again. So I kind of have to sit down with him and figure all of that out. The next thing I did was brainstorm fall travel, and I did that, and I feel good about our plans. We had hoped to do a couple of more things, but unfortunately I don't think that those are in the cards for us due to various other things that have popped up over the summer. That is the way it seems to work. This year has been the year of random stuff just popping up that I was obviously not expecting, and just threw a wrench in our plans. You know, the flood was one of those things, and it's just kind of continued. The next thing that I had on my list was to focus on digital pictures and video. I have been working on digital picture management this year, primarily for my iPhone, and really just for this year. I did get rid of the whole backlog of pictures that I had on my phone and put them on my computer, and need to do something with them at some point. But I've been maintaining printing out pictures that I take each month of the kids, as well as transferring the ones that I want to keep onto a hard drive and whatnot, and deleting things off of my phone. That has been a primary goal for me this year. This past month, I wanted to also figure out what to do with video, and I really wasn't sure, because you know, I take all of these random clips of my kids. It's not necessarily like this long drawn out video that is produced or anything like that. It's just clips of your kids, or events that we do, or activities or whatnot. And I just didn't know what to do with all of these little videos. And so finally, I don't know if I've already mentioned this, but I finally decided that what I was going to do was just compile them into one video for each month or each quarter, depending on how many little clips I take. Kind of similar to old school camcorders, when camcorders came out like in the 80s, and people would record little clips of all of these random things, and then they would just have a tape until it was completed, like the tape was full, and then you would move into a new VHS tape. I know I'm dating myself, sorry guys. And so what I thought I would do is I would just upload the video clips into Premiere Pro, which is what I use for my editing, and not actually edit them, but just put them all in and just transition between each clip and name it, you know, July 2025 or summer 2025 or whatnot, and then put that on a hard drive and save it so that it is available for the future. I mean, a lot of my clips end up in vlogs at some point, but I do just have a lot of clips that I want to do something with, but I don't know what to do with. And having them sit on my phone or even in a file on the computer isn't really helpful. But if I have them labeled by month and year, that would be helpful. Or season, or holiday, or birthday, kind of how it was in the olden days with the VHS tapes. So that was my decision. I feel really good about the progress that I made on that, and I'm hoping to continue to implement that going forward. The next thing on my list was the Organized Life Trio by Passionate Penny Pincher. There were a password book, perpetual calendar, and address book. I did write Just Make Progress, and I have brought that little password book. Let me grab it. This right here. There are 3 of them. These are the other 2, but I wanted to start with this password book, and I thought, oh, I'm going to bring it outside, and I'll be sitting outside, and I will just work on this while I'm hanging out with the kids or whatnot. I did not do it. I brought it outside every day for probably 3 different weeks, and I never actually made progress on this. I do want to do this. It is something that needs to be done. It's a project that I need to do, but I did not do any of it this summer. And maybe that's just because of my rest mindset. I didn't want to focus on writing down all of these passwords anyways. The next thing that I had on my list was back to homeschool shopping. I put it as the 25th. I think we actually went on like the 22nd or the 21st. We ended up going early. And I do have a video, a vlog and haul of what we got for back to homeschool. It was not very much, and I kind of felt sad about that because it is one of my favorite things, back to school shopping, all of the little pencils and pens and crayons. I love all of that stuff. I've always loved all of that stuff. You know, Jack didn't want anything at all. I kind of forced him to get a notebook, and he did get some new pens. Lucy wanted a few more things. Emma wanted like a drawing pad, but other than that, there wasn't too much stuff that we needed, but I will leave that video linked if you're interested. The next was college visit list, which I did. There are very few colleges that Emma is interested in at the moment that she wants to visit, so I have those listed and we will see how it goes. The next thing was my financial audit, and I did start it and I got through 2 of the first 6 months, but I have not finished it. The next thing, my monthly reset, I've crossed it off. I know that I'm doing it today, so I'm fine with that. The last thing was move into my planners, maybe. And if you've been watching my videos this summer, you will know that I have been trying out all kinds of different planners. I have really liked a lot of them, and I honestly thought maybe I would try using the My Agenda from the Mom Agenda Planner Company. I think that was probably my favorite one. However, I think what I'm going to do is try and stay in my Sterling Ink Common Planner. I have been using that for commonplacing, which is essentially a fancy name for note-taking, I think. And I'm really enjoying using that planner. And I'm going to see if I can combine a lot of the things that I keep track of in my Erin Condren planner and in my teacher planner in that common planner. We will see how it goes. I am still unsure. That's why I've not given myself any credit. And I probably shouldn't have put this on the list, to be honest, because I am still kind of trying these systems and trying to figure out which one I like the most. But I do feel this real need, and maybe that's why I kind of feel a little off this month, is that I am not prepped and ready to go for a new academic year. My planners are not all set up, and typically they are at this point. This one was not done, but I feel pretty good about the monthly projects that I had. Now, weekly action items or rhythms. I felt like I did a pretty good job with these. Most of these were things that I've already started to implement. Weekly planning is something that I do every week. Well, I try to do every week. I was very successful this month. Sabbath rest, same. Homeschool planning. This was kind of funny because I thought at the beginning of the month when I set up my goals that I would do a little bit each week, but you will notice that I didn't do anything these 3 weeks. And I did check off this week because I just started working on homeschool stuff yesterday. I'm kind of feeling the pinch that I probably should have been doing some more stuff in here, especially since we're starting in a week. But yeah, I really leaned into rest and did not do this, and that is totally okay. Food prep, did that. Day trip, we did every week. We've had a lot of fun events this month with the kids. The kids and I have gone to lots of pool parties, to lots of outdoor activities, and it has been so fun. Digital pictures I did every week except for one, but I did complete the entire month. The goal is to do it a little bit each week so that I don't get to the end of the month and have to go through like 500 pictures. AI exploration, this was a new rhythm that I wanted to try out. I've been really enjoying trying to use ChatGPT and Grok for different things. A lot of them are food prep and menu planning related, some just brainstorming about different rhythms and stuff, or if I have a question that I just can't get my brain to think about, I will put it into AI just to start the thinking process for me. I know that seems so random, but sometimes you just have this overwhelm of decision fatigue and you can't think through things. And so I have used it a little bit for that, and it's just been fun. It's not been something that I'm trying to restructure my life with, but just to try out and try different things. So that has been a lot of fun. And then the other newer thing that I put in here was weights. And I was really successful the first 2 weeks, did not do them the third week, did it once the 4th week, and I have not done it at all this week. I could still get my 2 times in because it's only Thursday, and technically I have through Sunday before my August goals start. So it is possible, but I do want to try and incorporate this more. I would like it to be 3 times a week, but if I can at least do 2, I would be happy. And so obviously I still need to work on that. Then for my daily habits, my AM routine, I've done every day. Oops, I need to check off today. Walk. I have done a pretty good job walking. It has been super hot the past couple of days, and so I haven't wanted to walk. I did walk inside a couple of times, but I don't go as far or as long as when I'm walking outside. I should have gone this morning, but I did not because I just wanted to read, but I'm feeling really good about my walking. Health tracking I have done every day, and that is using this little N1 monthly booklet from Sterling Inc. Highly recommend this if you are focusing on one particular area of your life for tracking. This has a lot of helpful spreads to keep track of things. Highly recommend this. Definitely will be getting a new one of these. I think they maybe come out in September, or at least they did last year. I'm pretty new to Sterling Inc. And in fact, I think her planners really she started releasing planners in 2022 or 2023. So very, very new planner company, but really, really love using this. The next thing was yoga/stretching, and I started the month off well, and actually in June I was doing really, really good with my stretching because I had tweaked my back and really needed to focus on that. But as I started feeling better, I stopped doing it as often, and now I'm definitely feeling like I need to be doing more stretching again. My 1 line a day I've done every day. Commonplacing, this I wasn't expecting to do every day. It's more just to track how often I am using my commonplace notebook. And so I have done it 7 times this month, which isn't a lot, but there were several days that I took pages of notes. So I want to continue this. I'm not sure how regular it will be because I feel like that's something that I really need to have a good chunk of time to sit down and do. And I don't always have that, especially once we start homeschool. And then the last thing on my daily habits was to read. And originally this had been to read in the afternoon. That had been the purpose of me putting it on my daily habits so that I would take a break and read in the afternoon and kind of force myself to rest. But I got out of my reading rhythm probably April, May. And so June, I put read to just read at some point and anything. It didn't have to be fiction. Nonfiction would count. And so I have done that every day this month, and I actually did read this morning, so I will check that off too. Okay, now we are going to move to August goals. And you will notice that I don't typically fill out this monthly reset section. I really like it. However, I do this in my planner, so I don't need to recreate it here. And I don't necessarily do this cultivated life evaluation check-in here. I did get the cultivated life evaluation booklet thing that they released this past year, and I will do that in there because there is space to do that every month. So I don't use this section, but I do just in a different planner. Now, I love this break it down section when I am working on larger monthly projects, so I can put the project and then put the steps, or some of the steps may also end up on my tending list as a monthly project or a habit or whatnot. I don't have anything, I think, this month for this section, so we are going to just start right with the tending list. Does that mean that I will not go back to that section? No. And we are just going to kind of wing it per usual. That's kind of how I do all of my planning with you guys. I am just, we're just along for the ride. Okay, so for my priority this month, it is back to homeschool. And a lot of other things will most likely take a back seat because I need to focus on homeschool. And that is totally okay. There is absolutely nothing wrong with that. It depends on the season you're in, what you need to focus on. And homeschooling my kids, it is a long-term goal of mine to continue to expand their interests. It does fall under my passion projects goal. this purple color here. It's an area of my life that I always am trying to improve. Okay, so the first thing that I am going to put, this is actually my home color, but Jack is blue also for his personal color. Maybe this is a little bit different than that one. We will see, but it is Jack's birthday month. And so that is going to be the first thing on my list. The next thing is going to be part of my passion project's homeschool goal, and that is back to homeschool and coming up with our new rhythm plus having a slow start. We always do a slow start where we start with just a couple of subjects and then we move into more subjects, and then usually by the time the public school is back in session, we are back in all of our subjects and in a really good rhythm. This year, because we're starting a month later than normal, we have to start a little bit faster than we usually do, but I'm still pretty confident that things are going to work out just fine. The next thing is part of my personal rhythms and systems goal, and that is to make progress in the Organized Life Trio. And I may end up actually working on this during my live stream this afternoon. We will see. And then also part of my rhythms and systems goal is to move into planners. And I feel like this is a little weird because I almost feel like I'm putting myself into the box of being a calendar year planner instead of an academic year planner, because even though it's just August, I feel like we're really getting close to 2026. I don't know why. Maybe it's just me. All right. Then I also have my monthly reset, which I need to look at my calendar. So my September monthly reset is going to be on August 28th. And then I also need to plan and prep for my 13th week / quarterly reset, which this is a new rhythm that I have implemented into my life this year. And it's based off of the book, The 12-Week Year, where at the end of the book, there is I think it's maybe 2-paragraph chapter on the 13th week. The 13th week is essentially time to either continue to focus on your goals or to evaluate your previous 12 weeks and plan out your next 12-week year. And I started to implement a 13th week quarterly reset week this year, and it has been life-changing. I do have 4 theme days. They are reflect, refresh, renew, and rest. And so each day is a theme day. This next quarterly reset, I think, is the first week in September, and we will be homeschooling that week, so it's going to be a little bit different than my last quarterly reset, so I kind of need to flesh out what I plan to do on those specific days and how I'm going to manage homeschool on those days. Okay, so that does not seem like a whole lot of stuff. It really isn't. But like I said, my focus is going to be on back to homeschool, and so I really need to be able to focus on that, and I don't know how much time it is going to take. We shall see, but we don't have anything else big going on in the month of August because I try not to plan a lot when we are starting school. It just works the best for me. So for my weekly action items, I have weekly planning, I have homeschool planning, food prep, then a weekly outing with the kids. This is my adventuring goal, orange color. For my wellness goal, I want to continue to explore AI because there are so many more AI options than just ChatGPT. And some do different things. Like I would love to be able to explore some of the video stuff that AI has, but you know, there's such a steep learning curve. And while I used to be technologically savvy, I feel like I peaked around like 2005, maybe 2010. With that ability. And then the last thing that I have is to continue weights, and I do want to try and do that twice a week, which is why I'm just drawing a line in the middle so that I can check it off both places. If I had another line, I would put it twice, but I don't, so that is okay. And then for my daily habits, they are going to be relatively the same. I am going to be doing my AM routine, and I did just put together my morning basket. I think that video will be up next week, where I'm putting together all of the resources that I want to use this fall as part of my morning basket, morning routine, if you are interested in that. And then for everything else is part of my wellness goal, and that is to continue to walk. I'm hoping every day we will see health tracking, yoga / stretching. And so that's either me doing a targeted yoga practice. There are a couple of videos from Yoga with Adrienne that I kind of do on repeat for my upper back and my shoulders and then my hips as well. She has so many great resources in her library of videos. Definitely recommend her. Or I will just do my normal stretching routine. Either of those will count for that. My 1 line a day, I am going to put commonplacing again, even though, like I said, I'm not expecting to do it every day, but I do want to track how often I'm doing it. And then read. So I think that is my plan for August. It does not seem very involved, but if I look at my quarterly goals, I did mention this, I think, in a vlog already. I have pretty much completed all of my quarterly goals except prep and start the homeschool year. The other ones that are like continue to prioritize the wellness rhythms and habits I've developed, you will see those reflected in my daily habits and such. But I have pretty much done all of these things, so there isn't a lot that I need to put in August. And if you ever are looking at your quarterly goals and realize, oh, I've completed most of what I have, I need to add more things. You don't have to add more things. You can just say, I am really on track with my quarterly goals and I just have a couple of things left. Those are the things I'm going to work on this month. I mean, you can always add more stuff if you feel like it, but you don't have to. And so I am recognizing that I don't have to add more stuff. And I am kind of trying to figure out what I may want to do in the fall, but I'm not entirely sure yet because we haven't started our homeschool year. Here is my August tending list. Now I'm going to do a little bit of decorating. Okay guys, here are my August goals, a little bit of stickering that I was able to do. Thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed this little peek into my goal setting. If you have questions about anything that I talked about, please leave me a comment or you can email me. My contact form is always in the description box. If you're looking for more help and encouragement around home and homeschool and goals, I would love for you to come check out my membership community. That link is always in the description box as well. Again, thank you guys so much for watching. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up and I will see you in the next one. Thanks guys, bye.